I finally understand what serendipity means. This is a word I hear a lot in the Asian part of the world, and it sounds like the unplanned fortunate discovery would be a great way to sum up the conversation I've had with Christabel. My introduction was through Mike Cook, who facilitates one of the language exchanges in town. You can find out more about him on episode 16. I was headed back home after a bicycle cruise, and I saw Mike and we began to chat. In the meanwhile, Christabel joined in on our conversation. We were still talking about the ineffable long after Mike had left, and I just couldn't resist but ask her if she wanted to talk about these things on the podcast. And I'm so glad I did, because now you have a little glimpse into a big-hearted singer/teacher in Chiang Mai. Expect to hear anecdotes about self-expression, the nature of converging reality, Jesus, belief systems and how some of these systems have failed humanity, gender and relationship dynamics, recent global politics, and even Miley Cyrus. Enjoy. I'll take this one.
Oh, should I have had my little mic stand here?
I have a little one, but it's not going to help you because the distance is far too
I
great.
can lean forward.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I can keep my hands free.
Let's see. Should be here somewhere. Here's another arts and crafts project for you. If you want that extra less
height?
Yeah. In between those two.
This is quite a cute little stand you have here.
I know, right? It's like a
just
little
get it off Amazon or whatever.
Speaking
of billionaires.
Believe so, yes. I believe so. I ordered it from the States, but there was a friend visiting there, so they just picked it up.
Nice.
I wish I had two, but this one's also very nice because it's I got it off a wrapper. So it's like a studio wrapping, I guess a studio level quality one, so it's good for me to
pretty good.
experiment.
I'm
with
working
a few
on
different-
some wrap this week.
Okay.
Actually, I mean next week now because my bloody back.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, you were doing it right.
yeah, this one of my singing students. He's a French Italian guy,
Uh-huh.
and he does a weekly rap
Nice.
called the weekly uke. He
A
calls
weekly
it
uke?
weekly uke.
Uke.
Hey,
does
weekly
that mean?
uke.
his
Ukulele.
name?
He
Oh,
plays
ukulele.
he plays the ukulele and he
Ukulele
raps
boy.
over it.
Yo.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. Like he's and he's got like really good ideas and thoughts. And we were sort of discussing how everybody is an island and craving connection and
Mhm.
fostering connections online is one thing, but how like actually if we don't connect face to face,
Mhm.
we're really missing out on a lot like in life. That online connection isn't enough, and doing your own thing is great, but if you don't help in somebody else's thing,
Mhm.
then we're never gonna actually connect, because like it's about sharing much more than just an idea.
Well, okay. I think what I aimed, when you start a project about something and then you realize all these other things that you're actually doing that you didn't realize, or like there's no new missions that kind of pop up. With this project of mine, I strictly do it face to face with everyone that I speak to. There's no one I've spoken to that was through online. Maybe it will come to a day that I'll do online speeches, but it's more of like
A way to hang out.
plus I think we're less of a like the main actor, more like a spotlight. So we have a spotlight that We direct that light to something or someone, and we're just highlighting that. Like that's what we are as humans. Like we're this light. We're this spotlight.
That's absolutely right.
We're like shining.
There was one of my favorite TED talks of all time is this one by a woman. It was a TEDx talk, but it was like a woman who'd come back to life, so to speak. Like she had lymphoma and she was bedridden. She was like on deathbed, right? Her deathbed, and she was like, she died on the table for a few minutes, and then she came back to life. And in her absence, like, she had this out of body experience. She met her dead relatives. She also saw her brother simultaneously. It's like she saw everything at once. That was her description, and she had this beautiful way of describing like life. She said it's like, imagine you're in a massive warehouse, and it's absolutely dark, like it's pitch black, but you can tell that it's fucking massive, right? It's just like so huge, you can feel that you can't get to the wall, like no matter how much you walk,
there's no wall for you,
and all you have is a little pen light, and whatever you point your light at is what you see, and that's it. But you know that every time you look somewhere, there's something else, And then she said when she died, it was like the lights got turned on in the warehouse, which was so beautiful. And she said everything was just there, next to each other on the shelves. There wasn't something that was better or worse.
That's
everything
wonderful.
was just there. And then the lights went back off again. Like in that moment, she didn't want to come back to life because she was sick and she was so unhealthy. And then as she had that thought, she also knew how to heal herself. She was out of the hospital in 5 weeks and blah, 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 blah. So her story what her takeaway from the experience was like, she asked the audience, look around you, how many blue things can you see? And then close your eyes, how many red things do you remember? And the point is that whatever you look at highlights, it comes into existence. Like your knowing about it makes it exist. And when we were sitting the other day on the street and we were talking about parallel universes, and I was saying, like, it's exactly that, right? Like, you exist in my universe now because we've met.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you will exist more the more I look at you. And the more people look at you, the more you exist, kind of. And that's what we want. We want to be seen.
The islands want to connect with each other.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
With the subterranean tunnels.
Islands or atoms or like circuits on a board.
Or universes.
Whatever you want to look at it. Because worth comes from also this idea of like, do you contribute? Like, are you alive? Then that's it. You're already a part of the circuit board. You are an active part of the circuit board.
Yeah.
Like, better you function as much as you can while you can, Yeah. Yeah.
Sick. Music is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, but it's not from music that I had this thought. It was from acid, like.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
I think
it was when I was looking up at the stars in the sky, and instead of seeing the stars, all of a sudden my vision shifted and I saw the space in between the stars. And that fucked me up. Like, I was like,
yeah.
That actually, oh man, that was so great because okay. So, masculine and feminine as concepts rather than genders is something that is talked about in all ancient religions as well, right? Like, you're not masculine or feminine. You're like some degree of both.
Everyone's on the spectrum, huh?
Yeah, everybody's in some kind of something, right? But if we also look at as matter, they also classify matter, right? Like like in Hindi, for instance, I don't know if it is in Turkish as well, but proper nouns like have gender.
Oh, we don't have gender.
Yeah, we do. And in many ancient cultures, they'll have this because like certain objects have like masculine tendencies and certain have like feminine tendencies, like ideas towards it, right? So like matter, for me in that moment where I saw this, the stars, the space between the stars rather than the stars, another realization that I had is that matter is masculine, space is feminine. The solid versus the...
So the background is feminine, and...
that thing that's holding all of everything in place.
Yeah.
All of the stars are held
Yeah.
in a like a dance together,
Yep.
like, and there's like this. So every single solid thing, like
Mm.
even inside the atom, like the hard core and the membrane
Right.
are masculine, and the space that fills up the atom is the feminine.
It kind of goes against the, matter, mother, sea, like anything water related in biblical context. It's kind of like matter
The
is
ocean is feminine,
Yeah.
but the ocean is kind of what fills up our earth, and the
True.
land,
That's the background, right?
continent is the masculine.
Yeah.
And that's what we live in, and that's where we place all our matter. So it kind of actually fits still.
Patriarchy. Yeah. It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, the womb, it's like the space inside the stomach is the feminine. She create the space,
Right.
and the baby is brought by the man. It's a masculine,
Right.
you know?
True.
Yeah, I thought I'm telling you. And I feel like lessons that you learn on psychedelics, they're truths. They're like kind of universal truths that are revealed to you
Right.
in a moment, you know. So when I was talking about like the circuit board, it's like
I'm with you. No, circuit board. I'm with you.
oh, you're
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
The circuit board is like, I mean, in that moment, I saw that that idea of that is presented in religion of in Catholicism for sure, and probably in others as well.
Mhm.
All that was, all that is, and all that shall be.
I see.
There is this idea, right, that is presented, and this statement that is made in every mass in Catholicism, and I was thinking about like the Christ consciousness, and it was like kind of, I understood that if you could picture the one point of energy that had to go through living every life in the past, every life that is existing right now, and every life that shall ever be. If you could imagine that one point living each one of those lives, then you could comprehend God. And that is the comprehension of God, you know. It's impossible to grasp.
Yeah. I think God is this blanket term. I think
Yeah,
I
it's
just
the
saw
name
this.
for that intangible.
I think we just like throw this blanket term God onto the mystical that
Yes.
has like no form or shape or
but
conceptual
is
thing.
very present and real, and does communicate with you
Yeah.
in any moment that
Like
you
the
allow
aspects
it.
of it are revealed when you are on a psychedelic experience, like a little
Yeah,
little
sure.
little
You want to call
nugget.
them alien beings, you want to
Mhm.
call it God, you want to call it angels, you want to call it what else? Universe. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah.
It is the universe. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
These are all true.
Truths. I like truths because they're applicable to everyone. I mean, it's not really something that.
And it does transcend time and space. Like you were saying, if you could fathom living all the lives before you and after you and all, like, I feel like Jesus is this figure, like they keep saying like, oh, the Messiah is coming back. So Jesus is kind of this figure who can just spawn whenever he wants.
The second coming is within you.
Yes.
You
Oh, okay.
are Jesus.
Oh, you are Jesus.
Yeah, everybody is Jesus. If you can understand what he was trying to say, you attain Christ
So we get
consciousness.
Vietnamese Jesus, we get Indian
No,
Jesus,
silly.
we get Turkish
like you
Jesus.
and me,
No,
like
okay.
everybody. Like so, Christ was just this dude who traveled to the east and learned about he got that universal consciousness, right? That's one of the rumors about him, right?
Oh,
Where
right.
was he?
He wasn't. They didn't kill him. Oh, actually, I know a little bit.
No, silly. Before he was crucified.
Oh, before he was crucified.
Like he when he shows up in the Bible at 33.
Mm.
So he was traveling in his 20s, I think.
Okay.
I think he like went to India and stuff. There's a book, right, about that.
Oh.
You know
I thought
about
it was
this?
like they tried to, crucify him, and then since it was 6 days, like the Sunday, they got to take off at Sabbath or something, and his disciples kind of like just took him off the thing. It's kind of a silly story. I feel like if you're gonna crucify this person, you would have a few guards around it so that no one takes him off the crucifix. Anyway, so they take him off the crucifix, and then he like sets off again to India and all these different places.
No.
No? It's a little too outlandish.
No, I don't know about that. I didn't hear it like that. For me, when I heard about it, it was like it was what happened. They don't talk. They show him as a child learning to be a carpenter from his father, and then he is just suddenly an adult, a 33-year-old, and showing up with his mom at parties, turning wine into water into wine and stuff.
Wow.
Like that's the so there is no
It's more
explanation
likely.
for his life in the 20s. There's no a record of Jesus Christ in his 20s. So Jesus' like words.
Was he
are-
chilling on the island with Tupac and
No,
Biggie?
you're making it a joke. I'm trying to tell you that it's not about him rising from the dead, like as fact, and that's not the discussion. The point that I'm trying to make is that he was talking about what we are talking about, which is seeing that everybody in the past and the present and the future, the spirituality side of life, like I think he just attained some kind of consciousness and then tried to share to people that they could also be God. He said, I am God. He meant you are God. And he said that, but people just didn't understand, and that's fine as well, because actually if you have any kind of real spirituality, you can, it's even said that be prepared to get rocks thrown at you, because that is the natural reaction. And I had a very I had a deeply spiritual experience several years ago, and I just
a little bit.
Hey,
Just lean in just a little bit.
oh sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
I when I had a deeply spiritual experience and then I was trying to share it, it just comes across as so egoistic that people just don't want to look at you. They don't want to be called out for their bad behavior and all of these things. That's not truly, like, it was an immature development, but definitely if you are going around living your best life, you will get rejected by the average.
Yeah, I don't think you need to even say anything, you know? Like,
Yep.
just the fact that you're living that truth
Yeah.
is going to piss people off. Just
Yeah.
like we were saying,
Yeah,
how,
it's
like, you're
because-
healthy, you know? They're like,
I remember that.
get out of here
Yeah,
with
like
your
fuck
freaking-
vegans,
yeah.
right? Everybody's like fuck vegans because they're
Yeah.
doing it like to be healthier.
Yeah.
They're doing it to care for animals. It's like, you goody two shoes.
Yes.
That's not like, it's not cool at all to be good. Like,
Yes,
it's
yes.
cool to smoke cigarettes, right? I mean, that's just a story that's been sold to us, but true happiness does come in living like these, in these nice ways.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to not eat dead animals, and it's nice to care for the environment, and it's
Yeah.
nice to do to work out every day, and like
Yeah.
all of these things feel great, like, but you won't get any congratulations on that. So even if you're deeply spiritual, it's most advisable to keep it to your fucking self.
It's a lone. It's a lone path. Like from
It's a
from-
lone path, and it's a private thing as well.
It is.
Like that. That's a concept in The Secret, right?
I think the more you seem like you're, you know, like undisciplined and like, let's say in the inside
like
you're
you're
just
undisciplined.
yeah, like in the inside you're just, you know, living your best life, but just to like avoid getting that like evil eye, like in Turkish we got that nazar, you know, like knock on wood, baby.
Hilarious.
So you gotta seem like you're just a piece of shit from the outside.
No.
Yes.
For
yes.
real?
Yes. That's why I love comedians, you know? Like they seem like fucking assholes from the outside, but if you actually go and talk to them, like I love comedy. I love comedians. Most of them are assholes.
Oh yeah,
and,
you were
like,
in New York until recently, right?
Oh, not until recently. I was, like
Oh.
it came back. It was like
Oh right, you didn't go back.
yeah. A couple years when I was in my developmental years, but
Right.
the fact of the matter is these
I do
people
understand.
that portray this sort of persona, but like in their private lives they're actually pretty good people, you know, pretty nice people. They care about themselves and all that, and but it
Sensitive and with brains for
yes,
sure.
yes
For sure.
and
For
I
sure,
think
agreed.
people like feign superficiality and just use comedy as a device to cope
Like what's
with
his name?
life.
Pete Davidson is definitely one of these,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Like, because
for
he's
sure.
just like quite a deep person, because he's
Mm.
had severe trauma,
Mhm.
but he's just learned to take life and show it everything as a joke and not give a fuck about being insulted or anything like that in public.
Oh, American people in general, I think there's a spectrum of like subtly traumatized to like severely traumatized, and someone like everyone's on that. Like maybe everyone in the world, but I think America's a
Everyone,
different.
well,
beast.
I would say that's not true. I think
No?
I think that everybody is equally traumatized, definitely. And if you wanted to compare, then, man, the dollar versus the rupee says all I need to, you know. There's always that value. Like, maybe there's dirt poor. What's that? The redneck guy, I love him. The redneck comedian who does
Marianne.
podcasting now, huh?
Redneck comedian.
Yeah, who
Joe
does?
Rogan?
No,
He's not
he's got a mullet. That's why I'm calling him. He's a proper
Oh,
redneck.
Theo Vaughn.
Theo Vaughn. I fucking love Theo Vaughn. I
He's
love
so funny.
rednecks. Like, I'm
Yeah,
severely
he's so
attracted
funny.
to that, like,
Yeah.
garbage redneck kind. Like, I don't know, because, like, it's the closest, maybe, you know,
He's
to
like,
the ground.
my favorite weed is my favorite strain of weed is cocaine.
Yeah, exactly.
He's great.
No, I like
One of
him
a
because,
kind.
especially because he's risen above. He's risen above, like, you know, some darkness. Like, for me, definitely. Actually, this morning when I woke up, I was just thinking about, you know, guys and, like, this relationship and what I want and, like, you know, the last interaction, all
Sure.
of this stuff. And I found myself in my daily journal saying how I am more likely to be attracted to someone that looks like they've been through a lot of shit, you know.
This, because I just want to cut you off there for a moment. I think all this spiritual talk that we have has root in some sort of deep suffering or some sort of loss. Like I know firsthand people who have suffered loss love on a very different level. My mom lost her dad when she was 6-7 years old. She had to look after my grandma for a long time. I had significant others who went through some serious kind of loss, you know. And those people love on a different level. The love is not the same.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
if there is somebody that has suffered some kind of loss, I'm more likely to feel like they can relate to me.
Yes.
They can understand, like, my darkest days, you know, and the my deepest crimes, because, like, nothing is quite like that massive hole in the middle of your fucking heart.
Yeah.
I remember there was beautiful description of loss from death, you know. It was that there's this big, it's like a big wrecking ball has just fallen through your living room floor,
Pretty much.
and, you know, for a while you don't even realize that the hole is there, and you just fall. First you're in the hole, then you climb out of the hole, and you start, like, living your life around
the
this
hole,
hole.
yeah.
And so you know, you learn to walk around it, but sometimes it's really dark and you forget that it's there and you fall in again. Oh my god, it's such a beautiful way to describe how grief feels, you know,
Yes.
and loss.
And that's just one side of it, you know.
Yeah, super secure people just, like, I feel like, wow, you won't get me, you know. That's literally why I broke up with one of my boyfriends, because I realized he just was brought up in the healthiest way and he had nothing wrong that had ever happened to him.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I cannot be with this person. I will forever feel that I'm dark and small. Like, I can't, you know.
Can't be like super happy, lucky, go, like all this.
I just
all this
don't think
fluffy,
he'd understand if
sparkly.
all the crimes that I've committed in my life, you know, all of the sins.
Mm.
Not that I feel like my boyfriend should be my priest. In fact, fuck, I hope that I never have to speak about anything. But it would be nice if I could say something to them
And be understood.
and be understood. Yeah, just to be like, by somebody, like, you're fine, I've done worse than that. Or, you know, like, to
Just
say
accept
that
it, you
I've
know,
been there.
for what you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, who you are today counts, not who you used to be. Like, for somebody to say that, you know.
And all this, I want to extrapolate this to, like, people go watch these spiritual content or advice, and like, it holds no value if the person, well, even if the person did go through all of that to, like, extract that thing that they're talking about, all these philosophies. You can't just take the philosophy and be like, okay, like, I'm this kind of person now, you know, and, like, I know no, like, you have to go through whatever they went through to get that philosophy, you know. That it's a good idiom, or it's a good sort of rule of thumb to live by, but those things have depth, you know, and that only happens through living, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of young people on TikTok giving, like, all this advice, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
It's cringy.
It's cringy only because I'm older.
Yes.
You know, maybe there are other people of the same age who are benefiting from
Yeah.
the advice, like, but definitely I would say that you're right to a certain degree. Like, you have to live. Although I will say that
You can take shortcuts, and these things are kind of like a little bit of a
well,
shortcut.
it's just kind of like information that you're giving to your brain, as long as it's information that's helping you and not like harming you.
Yeah. You still have to live your own truth though, somehow. Like, you can take these little pointers
Yeah.
from all these like content that we put out, you know, like, oh, okay, like this person went through this and that person went through that, and I'll take that and incorporate it into my own suffering of some sorts, you know, like whatever I'm going through or whatever I haven't been through, you know. I'll take this and say, oh, wait, actually, like the people that I don't understand is because like I haven't been through a lot. I've been silver spoon, you know, like I haven't really
Oh
had
my
to work a
God.
day,
It
you know,
will
like my hands
never-
are soft as fuck, you know, like, and I don't
This-
get this. And
People don't really. I don't know how long it takes till you can put yourself in
Yeah.
somebody else's shoes. Like, really, you know.
you can't. I mean, to
takes
100% degree, it's impossible.
Yeah.
But like you can get pretty damn close.
Yeah, you can really see people. I can agree with that.
Mm.
But there's a very big fallacy. Like, if you feel you're better off than somebody, that's a fallacy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not better off than anybody.
No.
Like, I mean to say that that's another thing that happens. They feel super grateful, right? Like at the first sex.
Mm.
I'm so thankful for my life. I'm so privileged and la la la. Yeah, it's nice to recognize, but that's kind of a bit condescending and patronizing to people. You don't know their lives. You don't know how happy this person is. Like, I have met some fucking happy people on the streets of India. Like, you just can't tell who's going to be happy and who's going to be sad. And if we're defining success by money, then sure. If we're defining success by actual peace, my greatest moments of peace came when I had zero money. I
Same.
once went down to zero, and I lived at zero for 3 weeks, and it was the most blissful time of my life.
Same.
Like you understand that it's like the more money we come across, the more problems we see.
Biggie said it. More money, more problems.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nah, but now I just want enough to fucking live by, and my anger is directed at the governments in power, not, you know, Trump or Biden, but just like to understand
they're
that
all
it's a
puppets.
bloody bigger stage than that. It's
All
fucking
puppets.
stupid.
We don't really. I mean, if you see them on TV, if you see them on TikTok,
People
you're
getting
like,
riled up about politics is the funniest
they're
thing.
not. They're not the people that you should be getting angry at, though, because like
Nah.
they're not the people like setting up the
No, sure.
thing. You know, like you
That's
don't see
it.
them.
Even men against women, I was saying to you, like, that's also a way to get you to stop fighting the system.
Yeah.
It just focusing and putting blocks in between men and women, like,
Yeah.
oh my God, frustrates me so badly. It's like, let's be shoulder to shoulder, not against each other. That's what we need.
Yeah.
I need some shoulder to shoulder action.
We are the world. We are the
Oh my God,
children.
I
Yeah.
saw a little girl singing Michael Jackson's song to, I think it was the song,
Uh-huh.
to a horse. And it was so funny. She was a terrible singer. She was just horrible. But the horse had his face like right up against her, and he was just like in so much bliss. And she's like, "We are the world." She's like singing like in the worst, like only how a 3-year-old can sing. She was screaming, but the
Oh my
horse was
God.
like in heaven. It
Yeah.
was the cutest
The horse was
thing.
living.
yeah, he was really enjoying himself.
So, tell me about your musical journey.
My musical journey.
Yes. And lean in, because this is
Is
a
that what you
part
wanted
where-
to talk about?
Well, I'm fascinated because I think I also have a very deep connection to music, but it never manifested itself in creation. But yours has, and I wanna learn more about that.
My music, all the creation that I did happened in absolute ignorance and idiocy. I was completely unaware during every single one of my compositions. I write I mean, whatever I wrote, it was coming from source, not from me.
It's pulling the energies.
So since like I have had gained any awareness of how little I know, actually I have not written anything. I have not composed for like 7 or 8 years now.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So let's not talk about my music. my journey is like, I don't know if I said this to you the other day, but I don't think of myself really as a musician because I don't understand as yet.
Okay.
I can't have a conversation inside of music. I do not have that much knowledge about it as yet.
Well, I don't speak technical music terms. We were talking
Me
about
either.
like, oh, what's that instrument? Like, I still can't name all the instruments, you know.
No, sure. Not
But
about
just
that.
more about like, how do you feel? Like, when did you start taking stage, and how liberating that was? Because you've
you
always
want
wanted to do
want
it.
my story, which I tell everybody all the time.
Yes.
Oh, but I'm bored with that.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I think I was grabbing the mic from the time I was born, because there's stories like, one time I found an audio cassette. My mom is really funny. Like, she's a funny character, you know. She used to make, I think she really enjoyed having kids because she would do things like give me a bar of chocolate, like opened just slightly, and then sit back and wait with the camera, like just to see me, like, you know, spread chocolate all over myself and have a really great time. And one time she told me this beautiful thing, which is like, she put all of the colors and the pencils and everything down in front of us 3 kids. She had 3. I was the youngest. I have an oldest brother, and a sister in the middle. And it's like 1 year exactly the difference between them, 14 and 15th of November. And I'm then 15th of December, 2 years after. So we're very, very tight. And she would give us like paints and stuff, and then she would just sit back and observe us. And she noticed that my brother would draw very neatly with a pencil and with lines, and he'd make like really like, you know, straight lines. And my sister was all about like the shading and, you know, use of proper color, and she was very like, and I was just kind of like, pour the paint, let's go. What can we do?
Party.
Yeah, like, and it's wonderful, I think, because she was kind of documenting our different behaviors. And one of the things that she also would do is like put on the audio like recorder, and she would get us to sing and stuff. Now, when I was too young to be taking part, you know, she was making a recording of my brother and my sister singing. My sister sang Raindrops on Roses, and my brother sang He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. And you know, we very delightedly listened to this audio cassette years later when we were like teenagers or in our 20s or something like this, is the last time I heard it. And it was so hilarious and adorable, listening to our voices and my brother, you know. And you have me just like harassing my mom in the background to get a chance to sing. Like, I am on her. At one point she's like, again she's come, like this. Which is so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And then finally she gives me the mic, and I just sing He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands, like 6 or 7 times in a row. And then my mom's like, okay, enough now. Like, it was the funniest recording. And I also have memories in my childhood of like me just like coming to, like, I would just be sort of like waking up from a daze, and I'd realize I am standing on the side of the road waiting with my mom to flag a taxi down, and I have been singing on the top of my lungs, like just belting on the street, and my mom's like standing there embarrassed, like, can you just like take it down a notch? Just a moment. So I have like vivid, clear memories of myself always wanting to grab the mic. And if there was a singing competition in school, I'd take part. If there was a choir, like, I tried to join every choir, everything that I could do, but the reaction was always the same. Like, could you just take it down a notch? Like, just like you're like, or just like not like that was kind of cute, but take it down a notch. Or like my sister, we would sing together growing up, and the first musical argument I ever had was with my sister on the last note of the song, "She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah." You know, I heard "loves you, yeah, 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 yeah," and she was like, "It's a yeah, 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 yeah," like some other note, you know. And we had this argument, and then we went back and listened, and then we realized, oh, there's such a thing like harmonies happening inside of a song. So I mean, we were like five.
That's
or
why I
whatever,
hear
you know.
something different. You hear something different.
Exactly. So that's so we, you know, she was a harmony singer and I was like a main singer. But, you know, I have this memory of her saying, "You just want to try to drown me out." But what was really happening was I was relaxing into it and enjoying myself. So that was what really was going on. I'll just close that door. Sorry.
So it seems like you're telling me what's going on in the outside, but tell me more about what's going on in the inside when you.
I mean, for
Or
me, I don't have any knowledge of what was going on inside of me because I was just always in some kind of escapist mode. Like I was always reading. I was walking everywhere with my book. I was reading late into the night by the street light. I was just checked out of my life. Now, in retrospect, I can say that I remember these things happening, and so now I can trace what you know, that I was always into it. I picked up the guitar when I was 19 because two of my friends were doing the same thing, and one was also learning keys, one was also learning harmonica, and I had just come out of boarding school where I learned flute for 2 years. So we were all like two instruments, but one of them was guitar, and we did gigs where we just shift the instruments
Nice.
around, and we'd each play a different thing for each song. It was kind of fun, you know, but I was never great. Like, and also what would happen to me is, once attention was on me, I'd start to shake really badly, and I'd get really fucking nervous, like so badly, like I'd shake like horribly. I remember the first time I auditioned for choir in university, it was a nightmare. Like there was a Jesus. This is such a funny memory. But I was terrified of the choir director, Wendy Dixon. God damn, she was like very Catholic, very strict, you know, choir director, and she was also taking a few classes for me because I was like studying literature because I'm deeply into reading. And she was just sitting there in judgment, and I was standing, and I think it was the chorus Runaway, if I'm not mistaken, that I had chosen to sing. But I was so nervous that I fixated on this like photo that was hanging in the back of the auditorium. It was a portrait of Jesus, and I just like somehow got through it. But like in retrospect, the short story is that I couldn't relax. I couldn't relax. I was so nervous, and then self-conscious, terribly ashamed all the time. I was so ashamed of my body when I hit puberty, like sort of in my teen years, that I would shower with my underclothes on. Like I'm coming from a lot of shame, like deep like shame throughout my life. So I moved to England, right? Like in 2008, I moved to England because I was dating this English guy, and he was quite some years younger than me, and he couldn't find work in Abu Dhabi. And we'd met in Abu Dhabi. I was working at that time for Shell Middle East. I was the PA to the managing director. Can you believe? 27th floor apart.
Corporate years.
Yeah, 27th floor office, you know, penthouse corner office, going to work in like full makeup, suit, heels, like this kind at 5 o'clock in the morning, like this kind of life, you know. And I was like, yeah, cool, I'll come to England, you know, because we missed each other so much. I even wrote a song at that time. Like I was writing from the time I was really young, you know. I've been writing as well because I read a lot. So if you read a lot, you become a writer. Like that's just natural, right? So, but how when I was disturbed, I'd write like verse, you know, just lines rhyming, like pages and pages and pages of it. And now even when I'm very disturbed, if I write my journal out, when I read back, I found that I've written in rhyme. It's like a thing that happens to me.
I see.
Yeah, it's really
like a
crazy.
response.
Yeah. So lucky, you know.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
It is.
Yeah, I write a thinking song, like that's cool, you know. Also, I think I was always interested in learning songs. You know, the first rap that I learned was MC Hammer, which is so funny. It's so funny, and I remember clearly my brother making fun of me because
Was
the
it
first
the Can't
line is
Touch
like
This one?
no, it was too legit to quit. And the first line's crazy,
funny.
right?
That's
The,
funny.
and the first line is sweat running all over my chest. I don't quit, no, I just press it harder than I've ever done before. It's like, and
Hilarious.
clearly have this memory of my brother reading this out like, what are you fucking writing over here? But I've luckily had habits that have helped me professionally, like to make singing my life. But my voice didn't come out till I moved to England for a couple of years and had no one look at me when I was walking down the street. Like, that was the pivotal moment. Have no one touch me when I was off my face on 3 pills and pressed up against a speaker at a drum and bass rave, like just like losing my mind. Nobody invaded my personal space, even though I was surrounded by people.
Yeah.
You know, I was in the thick of it, and nobody violated me in any way. And I think I was just violated so much in my life that was my liberating experience. So
Got you.
yeah, so my singing came out, and I was like a volcano that had erupted. And so I'm just trying to tame the beast now. I don't take any responsibility for it. I think it was that I was brought into the world with it, and that it's just my duty to scrape away the walls, you know, to make sure that I keep my channel clean. And that's how I look at it. So I don't really have any ambitions with regard to writing more. I would love to write again, but I'm trying to just be like quite compassionate with myself about it, because like you can't force inspiration, right? You know.
I don't know.
You have something to say
Well,
about
I
forcing
think
inspiration?
it's through the practice, the inspiration has no choice but to visit you. You know, so in a sense, if you
on point.
if you're
On
just like,
fucking point.
because I've met some people who do drawings, who do, you know, music, who do all these other things, but they're like, okay, dude, it's 8:00. I need to sit down. There's a sequence that I've created. If it's like coffee, or I go to a place or something, but I need to do my shit for like an hour, or half an hour, or 25 minutes, or 2 hours, depending on, you know, what their whole thing is.
Yeah, for me, it's putting on the metronome and doing my scales.
There you
or
go.
Like,
There you go.
Writing in my journal, forcing myself to make my audio journal, you know. So, yeah,
So you can't
I get
control like when in the sense that, okay, I want inspiration right now is not gonna happen. But
well, it's
it'll
really one of the saddest things like that I found for me is that I haven't really figured out a way to record my voice while I'm on my bike riding around, because that for me is my shower. You know, like a lot of people have ideas in the shower.
Yeah.
I just talk or sing on my bike, and uh-oh.
What did you just say? What did you say?
I said I really like Miley Cyrus.
Actually, okay. I have a friend who is he did like
I relate to her.
No. He did like taco sales in all these festivals around America.
Okay.
And I was asking him, okay, what's the best concert that you've ever been to? Miley Cyrus.
The thing about
Hands
Miley is she's somebody that's I can relate to her. Like, she's gone through a journey in her life. She's not perfect. She's living, you know. She's living, and she's living like very openly, you know. And she's like, I like her. I relate to her. Like, she smokes weed. She's like friends with Dolly Parton. She's got that, like, you know, real like side to her, you know. Like, if somebody like Dolly Parton's her godmom. Like, that's super cool, you know. So she's got like Dolly backing her and giving her advice and supporting her throughout everything that she does. She's super. Is that me who's the low one there?
I'm just trying to save some battery.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, and she says some really cool things. Like, I remember I made a reel about one of her clips from her Joe Rogan episode. Did you watch her interview? By any chance?
I know of it. I haven't watched the whole thing.
It's so good.
Yeah.
She's smart, and she speaks, and she's got like a nice deep voice like me, which is getting deeper every day. Like, and her tone, I think I just relate a lot. But she talks about, like, she says something so funny. She said, Like, I'm into a lot of freaky shit, but I don't fuck dead people. So once it's done, we're done, and you're done with. I'm done with you. You know, it's like, oh, it's like snap, and Joe Rogan's face like, whoa.
Damn. What do we have over here?
So I cut that, and I was like, which celebrity quote do you identify with most? Here's mine.
Yeah.
I love
Nice.
that. I love
Miley
that. She's
Cyrus.
smart and she's funny, and she don't give a fuck. You know.
I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, because she's had people control her
Mhm.
and make her do things. So now everything that she does, she's taking responsibility for.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think it's like staying authentic, even at the face of cringe, even at the face of, you know, like, hey, I know this isn't me, but, you know, if I'm the same person throughout my whole life, then it's like that's the furthest away from me, because we're constantly changing anyway, you know? It's like when you have friends around you that say like, oh, you've changed. Well, good, bitch, because, you know, I'm not doing all this shit. I'm not moving up across of the different part of the world. I'm not like associating with different people. I'm not starting my own projects and looking dumb to be the same person. I'm doing all of these things to change and be okay with my change, and hopefully inspire other people to, you know, get on track with their own change, because
It's just about living in it. Do what you want.
yeah.
Like, I want to do so much, and I know that I want to do everything, but I mean, I will just try to do as much as I can while I'm alive. It really doesn't matter what I do and whether I actually finish anything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm alright. I think with myself these days more than I've ever been. And I was like really thinking about this. You know, you're talking about presenting yourself in a cringe way, even like accepting your cringe. You see my
I am
cringe.
cringe, but I am free.
You saw that reel that I posted. Did you see any of my content at all? Did you look
Not
at
yet.
it? There was one that I posted just a couple of days ago. I was learning this song, Gypsy Woman. La da dee da da. So there's like, she's just like you and me, but she's homeless. She's home. But when I was practicing, I was like, but she's lonely. She's like, oh my god, that's a Freudian slip, you know. And I posted that bit because like it was like, it's like that was really cringe, you know. Like I really got embarrassed at myself, and then I couldn't like practice anymore. And then I have this practice that I teach people to do, which is like just to breathe out every time you get, because I get like so agitated that I find that I'm just like building pressure like a pressure cooker.
Gotcha.
And so this breathing out, actually this is so beautiful, because okay, so I've had a very traumatic bunch of experiences in my childhood, and so I mean, I think I've been suicidal since I was 7, you know, and that's something that a lot of people are just like, oh my god, you're suicidal. But I think that is something that when you're that kind of person, you see life so beautiful, you know, so beautiful, because you actually can't let go. Like you just letting go, because wanting to let go because you feel worthless and absolutely useless, and then the beauty of the world keeps you back. That's what it is. And when you think about people like who have eventually committed suicide, like Bourdain and Williams, you know, like guys like that, I'm sorry, I want to find a letter.
I think I saw one over there.
Where?
Or the
Right.
ICs are. Yeah, my theory that I just came up with in this moment when you were saying that anyone who's somewhat smart and deep has contemplated suicide at least once.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would love to feel like that was true. Like I would definitely, I think all human beings think about it at some point, because Shakespeare wouldn't be so prominent if he
Yeah.
wasn't like touching the heart of the human experience. And finally all the thoughts that we don't share with anyone other thoughts that we share with everyone, like our private thoughts that we have. Everybody thinks about stuff like that, right? But there was a reason I was bringing it up.
Maybe this will help you remember. The other side of the coin, where you say the life's beauty brings you back, is I think living is the harder thing to do between killing yourself and continuing to live. Living is hard. Let's just face it.
Living is hard.
It's the easier thing is just like, I'll just stab myself. I'll take some pills. I shoot myself. I'll jump off.
Yeah, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, that's the harder thing.
Oh, I was talking about feeling useless and worthless, right? And I was talking to a friend of mine who I know from Oroville, which is like a community, a very special community in the southeast coast of India. They have like a giant gold golf ball in the center of their place, which is like a meditation chamber, which is like so beautiful and fantastic. Like, I won't get into it like right now, but very special people get drawn over there, and I feel really blessed to have been one of those people and to experience life over there in that community. And one of the friends that I made over there, one time he was visiting me in Goa, and I was in one of my low points. I was like thinking, you've seen it, I was thinking about. I was feeling really bad, and so I was talking to him about it, and I was also talking to him about not having done any DMT or Changa or anything like of that sort. And he was saying to me, maybe you're not getting it in your life because you already know the things that they want to teach you, first of all. Like, maybe you don't need it. You don't have to do it to be anything, And the second thing he said to me, don't forget that you've only been brought into existence by plants to create carbon dioxide for them to breathe.
Yeah.
Like, we are evolved for plants, and that we think that we are gardeners, but actually they're gardening us.
Pretty much.
And so if you ever feel really worthless, all you have to do is breathe out.
Yes.
And then, and that had the wonderful counter effect of just being like, oh, I'm in the earth. I'm a part of this earth. And exhaling grounds you, and exhaling makes you so useful to the world around you. All of a sudden, you are part of the system. Yeah. Then you're just helpful. You did what you needed to do today. And you do that every day, all day, without really needing to do anything else. So everything else is just extra.
I think we get the wrong idea when we say, oh, I came into this earth. No, you came out of this earth. You're like a fucking plant, or like a little fruit that comes out of the plant. And in the sense that, like, no Asian kid would ask their parents, like, how was I made, Because you're not made. You're not like a construct. You're not like
about no Asian kid asking that. I don't understand that reference.
I think the Western way of looking at the world is a little bit more like it's a construct. It's something that is made. It's like,
I think Asian kids wouldn't ask, but they just get slapped if they did. I don't think it's anything about a lack of curiosity. We all want to know how we were made.
All right, I'm not gonna ask this question. Yeah, it makes sense. No, I was just saying I've read this like super cool way of looking at different philosophies, and the Abrahamic religions kind of look at it from like a construct perspective. Indians look at it as a dance, as sort of like a drama, and the Chinese look at it as an organism. So in those three different ways.
What was the first one?
The Western.
Looking at it as a
construct, like symbolized with a statue or something that you create. Like it's like a building, like it's building, something is made. But in Eastern philosophy, it's just more like it's organized drama, where it's just like a circular movement, like you said, and we're
circular
just
movement, it's so cool because the circular movement idea is super interesting as well, because it's how it's one of the biggest arguments between philosophies of the East and the West, because of the perception of time. So I read a book called The Yoga of Time Travel. Wonderful book.
Nice.
Thin, very interesting, beautiful paintings and illustrations inside. I found it in the library. of the place that I took my yoga teacher training. It was in somewhere, I don't remember. And in this book, they talk about how not just the Indians, but even the Aborigines. You know, the is that what I say? Yeah, the Aborigines. They both these cultures are some of the most ancient cultures in the world, and they both talked of time as being a circle, not a line. Time was not a line, it was a circle. There was no distinction between the past and the present, which is why whenever they describe things in mythology, there is no real time line. There is just occurrences.
Yes.
They're just occurrences. They're just a description of the occurrences. One does not come before the other, so to speak. Like there is some kind of, we have imposed a linear thing on it by analyzing and arranging like logically where it could be and all of these things. But actually, I love this concept. And it's not circular exactly. It's spiral.
That's how the planets move and stuff, right?
Like how the planets move, how we grow, how everything is, and yet we think of time as a line. It's a
and there's no lines in the universe. Like
exactly.
you can't find a line in the universe.
So we're moving in a spiral, not and so we're moving within ourselves in cycles. I definitely love observing the patterns that I repeat within my own life. Like I see myself.
Okay, maybe the circular comes when like the scale gets macro and macro and macro and macro, and like we perceive it to be circular, or like philosophers or people who have these like experiences perceive it to be circular, but it's actually just like very like it looks circular, but it's this very slight angle of spiral.
Yes.
Yeah,
if you're repeating something in your life, you're having a different experience every time. You know, now whether you're going downward or upward is really on you. You know, and what your practices have been day to day and how you're moving, you know, which way you're going. But you can be both of those at the same time as well. And it's really interesting because if you apply this thought also over all of history, that we have recorded history, it also fits over there because we have like the agricultural revolution, which took like super long to develop. And then we have the industrial revolution that was much like shorter time. And then we have the technological revolution that is like super quick. So we have our tight circle that's happening, and we see in the past the big circle, and we don't know what the big circle is right now. We don't have the capacity to see what is actually happening to us on the time frame. Like our views are too limited for that. See what I'm saying?
It's like I feel like we're, you know, when one person goes through the phases of letting go of desires and just being okay with things and stuff, people have different words for it. Some people call it moksha, enlightenment, whatever. But I think what we're going through, it feels like, is like a whole like earth global scale enlightenment process that is going to take years and years and years and years and years.
It's happening, but you can see it, right?
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah,
I'm trying to make that more prominent by paying attention more to that than to the shit.
Of course.
I try not to listen. Like I know less and less about what's going on in a shitty way. You know, the shitty things that are going on.
Because you can get dragged away with the shit, and then you'll be on that sort of like spiral. But you can.
I mean, there are
so
so many socially conscious people that would right now be so angry with me for saying that, because you know silence is violence, and after all, that's inaction and all of this. But no, more than it's also understanding. For me, I see that that's what they're soldier for. You know, they are sold. They're sold. They're made for that purpose. That's their purpose. That's their soldiers, and I'm thankful that they exist.
Sure.
You know, like for instance, Vandana Shiva. You know Vandana Shiva. She's like one of the most underrated. Like I wonder when is she gonna come like into the limelight, and when she gonna go viral, because this bitch, she's so smart. She's like Indian woman, old. She got like, you know, white middle parting, like big, and she's been trying to call out Bill Gates for years. She's like challenged this guy to public discourse because she knows that he's taking over the seed culture of the world, and that he's trying to gain control with like all of this, you know, the Monsanto like family, everything. I mean, I know a couple that stays in the backyard of the Monsanto family. Actually, they actually live in that area, and they said that they go dumpster diving. in their back, like in their trash, because it's the trash is so great from the Monsanto like household, but they don't consume their own crop, and it's like, come on, enough. They're poisoning. They've been, I mean, I don't know. It's a very it's a relevant fact somewhere, but Nestle, for instance, the products that were banned in the States, after it was discovered to be unfit for human consumption, it was all that was produced was just exported and became export quality to like countries like India. So just now, if you analyze, they've been analyzing food in India, and it's like a large percentage of it is poison. I don't know how we have the just billion population with a number of things. We've been murdered so much over like centuries. It's like very prolific people, very fertile land. India, very, very fertile land, like in spite of being plundered.
The top, like even if people leave India, that's the top country that sends money back. There's no other country that sends money back to their own country. We have deep
roots, I would say. Yeah.
And it's like, it's impossible. Like you can throw all the poison, you can throw all the bullshit, you can smear everything, but like the essence will always just shine through. You'll have to do. Anyway, all right, let's not go there. And still, like, even if you do, there will be a baby that survives.
Hell yeah.
And will fuck the whole thing up. Like,
life prevails after all, hey?
Yeah.
But we were talking about what before?
Ooh, good point. Like, not all the way back to music, right? No, we were talking about food.
We were talking about being aware of what's going on and understanding that, there are heroes for every movement, and we should pay attention to our heroes and find compassion for our enemies. Hey, I mean, so-called, like, there is no such thing as an enemy. That is, you have to find out how is that person thinking? What must have happened to that person that they are thinking like that? That's how I try to get about it. Like, that's how I make peace with everything. I just try to put myself in the other person's shoes and really think. And it's so funny because I got this from my work as a singer, because when I'm singing a song, I pretend that I've written it. Like, that's how I sing with so much emotion.
Oh, so you tap into the whole song.
And it's like, I wrote this song, not tap into the emotion. I become the person that has written this song. Like, I just go into it like I'm feeling those feelings. These are my words. Like, I am speaking these words.
You're channeling the spirit of the song.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about the person who wrote the song and how they must be feeling, but I wrote the song. It becomes my song, so I'm that person.
Well, you're writing the song in that moment.
Yeah.
Like you're reciting.
Yeah.
But it's like, all these like ancient texts.
Yeah, and many times it will be that I just make up words and I sing which my real feelings.
A little correction here.
Yeah, it's
Here's
just
a little tidbit from me.
It's all ad-libbing.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, being aware of whatever's going on in you first, because that's how that's how you will perceive outside, and then outside, whatever's going on around you is a good way to live, rather than just being passive and just letting life happen to you. Because life is happening for you.
I don't know. Abraham Hicks, this name?
Oh, yeah.
If you listen
Asking It Is Given?
And even I was listening, she comes up sometimes in my feed, and it was about like how not doing anything could be the greatest act of acceptance to what the universe wants to give you and what life wants to offer you. Like, maybe your imagination is too limited. That greatness lies in not trying hard at all, and only just being like passively allowing energy to come through you. Now, that's an interesting idea as well, right?
Of course, but if you've listened to yourself enough, you will know when to do that. I think that's why I said it starts from inside. Like, you can't just like take in reality from your outside before really deciphering what's going on in here. Like,
definitely.
If you know what's going on in here, I mean, in and out is the same thing. Just like you were talking about how we separate these events and say like, oh, this happened because of da-da-da-da-da. No, it's like that spiral. Everything is connected to just this one event. Like everything that we're talking about is just this one event that's kind of spiraling into in existence, basically.
Yeah.
And since we can only perceive time in this linear way, we perceive it in like it's like I came here and then we set up and but it's just like this one thing, and we're just a part of it. And the seed that you have inside of you, if you've went through the steps of hell and heaven and all that, it's easier for you to know what to do. Maybe you're right. You're absolutely right. Sometimes passiveness is way better than just
trying,
acting recklessly,
or being a tryhard. I'm fucking famous for being a tryhard. I'm just like, man, little dog, because my Chinese ear is dog, so I'm very dog-like. I just want to be like, rub me on my head, just go for a walk. Take me on a walk, I'll be super happy. I'm like this, so yeah, definitely like cats as well, more than I like dogs because of that. Like I'm very much like about that complementing thing. But you were saying something that really reminded me saying, yes, this talk of like pattern, being just going through everything together as one. We are just part of this thing that's moving. I love that, because are you thinking of that gif of the they show how this Earth is going around the sun, like rotating.
Nyan cat. Okay, no,
mind.
yes.
No, but shit, what was it? When we look at the experiments of sound waves on water or frequencies on waves or whatever, on atoms, the effect, when it showed, like when I saw that, my first thought was, I'm 70% water. That means that when I'm listening to music, that's happening within my body. And I was thinking about the dance of these patterns. And if I think about myself as a dance on the pattern, it also makes sense because we have the collective consciousness. And so like there's so many people that are going through the same thing as you, and y'all are just part of the same point in the pattern. Like if you think about that fractal dance, like that is so beautiful as well.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's very
and
nice
to feel like
connected.
you're alone is just preposterous, I feel like, in this age especially. But to think that whatever you're going through in life, may it be lost, may it be suffering, may it be lack, it's there's a lot of people around you, like not too far away,
No, but we are all alone.
Yeah, well,
yeah, Donnie Darko is still my favorite movie.
Oh, okay.
And 1984 is so relatable still, like I mean, like we are alone.
Islands.
We are alone. We are like
a lone wolf.
Like the two atoms cannot be stuck to each other, right? They are independent of each other somehow. I don't know.
They can sort of like get.
We're next
it's
to
like
each
a limit
other.
thing, kind of, huh? Like
I don't know. We all die alone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I face my aloneness. I stand in it,
Yeah.
Like the void. This is like, that's the discussion of the void. Like you can't look away from the void. Like you have to maintain a sense of humor about it, because if you want to take the blinds off, it's going to get overwhelming pretty fucking quick if you don't see yourself see it as a big cosmic joke. Like all of this greatness, all of this fucking amazing la 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 la, you are the opposite too. You are literally nothing. You are literally nothing.
But you only exist because you wanted to experience something else.
You wanted to?
Or like, I don't know. I think it's for fun. Like the cosmic joke that you're talking about. Like we're all this connected, like one universal truth, whatever. It. You are it.
It.
But we want to we want to know that we're it by not being it.
Yeah, you can't look at it.
Yeah.
I think you can only be it once you die.
Yeah. Well, how has other people gotten to that point of like, oh, like I am it, and then they come and they say like, hey, you're it, like there's a lot of people.
Yeah, that's just trying to like walk a tightrope all the time though. I don't think it's truly like blissful. Like all the people who really, really found it, they just actually just disappear.
Yeah.
Just
I don't know what.
like
Now you see
when
me.
I had my
David
spiritual
playing shit.
experience where I like, you know, completely lost my mind. I lost my goddamn mind. You know, I had a fucking psychotic breakdown. Like that's like
Lost your marbles and then found them.
I mean, not found them. I
I'm still
literally,
looking for them.
I literally picked them up again and put them in my head, like very deliberately, like because I had two choices, like either disappear into the wild,
Yeah.
and never return to society, or weigh myself down with a few rocks so that I can walk amongst the people. Like, and I decided to do that because I was not done with living this life. I wanted to experience all the negative emotions. I want to cry. I want to be jealous. I want to, you know, I want to feel human emotions. I don't want to be above it all. I want to experience like everything, like all the darkness. Like I want to get fucked up. Like I mean, like I want to see the part of the earth where it's like spring is coming, and so the land has turned completely like green grass, but it's still so fucking cold that the ocean is still frozen. You know that there's a part in the world that looks like that? Like I saw it on David Attenborough's whatever, you know, one of his things, and I'm just like, wow, that exists, you know. And it's all just one of the things, you know. Like both of these things are somehow they have the same value to me. And if you attain too much enlightenment, too much it's detachment, then maybe you're just not interested anymore in the games of the world. But I guess I'm alive for a reason, right?
Yeah.
I feel like dying is like returning to source, and all the answers are a question's gonna be answered, you know.
Yeah, I think.
And all the answers questioned. No,
Hey, flipping the script. I think you're totally right though. Where there's this unconditional love, you know, like you don't even get that from your parents. That's where you came from. You came from unconditional love, and that's where you're going back to. But you came here to experience tough love, sweaty love, jealous love, freaking, you know, like.
Yeah, they're
all
very
this-
human
yeah.
experiences, aren't they?
Yeah.
I enjoy them thoroughly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, be equanimous when you're dead, finally, I guess. No, I don't know. I want to give everything equal importance. I understand that the better, like I save my attention for positivity to make that more prolific, but when I'm encountered by a negative emotion, I don't dismiss it or suppress it. I go through it. And I think this is one of the biggest fallacies that's like going around. Like I see a lot of people are making this shift, you know, and I feel my algorithm is giving me good information because
Yes.
I've been seeking out good information.
Just after we talked about that, I just want to read it because I've seen it, like how good the negative and positive are necessary.
Yeah, this thread that the both of creating both are just two threads in the tapestry of your everyday.
Absolutely.
And you must value each and every thread because it makes up the fucking 300 count or whatever the fuck you want, you know.
This
like
is
more
an excerpt
emotions.
from the Wisdom of Insecurity.
Wow, let's go. I want to hear it.
We must simply stop looking at pain and pleasure as negative or positive emotions, just like you said, and understand that both are a necessary part of life. We should move towards a perspective where we do not worry about avoiding the pain and, you know, incorporating and da-da-da-da-da-da. But, like, you know, I think you were right. I think there's more people making that switch, and they see how it's like, oh, okay, wow. Like
Yeah,
this,
but
this
for
is
a long
useful.
time the trend was this love and light, only thinking positive. You cannot,
Yeah.
and nor is it enjoyable. Jesus.
Yeah.
What? I'm so happy when I feel jealous. Like,
Yeah.
I would be so happy to be like, oh my God,
Yeah.
don't talk to other girls. Like, I want to have that feeling about a man. Like, I think that that's part of, you know, niceness. How you, I mean, like love, you know, that's attachment. And I mean, being non-attached, I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it.
I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah.
And I think a healthy, this is more of a Muslim way of looking at the world, I guess, but like a healthy relationship always has some jealousy to it, you know? Because if there's no jealousy to it, then there's like what do you...
No
what do you-
attachment.
Yeah, there's like...
I want to be attached. I
Yeah.
want to literally be attached at the hip.
like a fucking circus show.
Pun intended. I want to be your savage twin, baby. Let's go. But yeah, like actually, this is something that I've been encountering a lot of online, and it's been helping me with my understanding of myself. So I am very much anxiously attached because that's the kind of trauma that I suffered. You know, I have like PTSD, CPTSD, childhood PTSD, and I also am very anxiously attached. Like, I know that because I am so immediately needy. Like, I'm much less than I used to be, which is hilarious. And with the one time it really mattered and my soul knew it, like, I fell in love one time in my life. And with that guy, I would wait 5 days to text him back.
Playing games, huh?
No, understanding that that's how, like, have you read The Little Prince, Le
Yeah,
Petit
of
Prince?
course.
It's the fox.
Mhm.
He says, every day you must come and sit a little
Mhm,
far away
mhm,
from me.
mhm.
And that is the truth. That's how you should develop a good relationship. Like, you have to sit. And I'm so terrible because I'm anxiously attached. I'm texting all the time. Like, I'm texting every day. Like, I'm texting first. You know, I'm texting first all the time because I cannot wait. Like, I'm too
Gotcha.
impatient, you know? And I'm observing myself every time doing this. And thankfully, this year I was introduced to this idea of limerence. It's a term for what I do. And I'd never ever heard that term before. And I only clicked on the video because I love words. And limerence was a word I'd never heard before. And I wanted to know what it meant. And it turned out to be a symptom of my trauma. Like, it gave a name
found you.
because, like, you can say I'm kind of ADHD, I'm kind of bipolar, I'm kind of narcissist. Like, I could relate to every fucking disease out there. Like, mental issues, I got them all. You know,
Yeah.
like I
Which
could,
personality do you want tonight, honey?
so, you know, fuck that. But
You don't need
when
to go
I
to other
watched
girls.
Limerence, the video, I related so much that I clicked on another one, and it was all of the symptoms of having suffered PTSD in your childhood. And I had every single fucking one, including spending too much on the wrong thing, not spending enough on the right thing, and like many things that I found were troubles in my life that I had no way of quantifying. So I was very lucky this last year to have actually come across this term, and I believe that right now they're they've found out something new about human beings and their personalities and the way that we attach ourselves to each other based on how we were treated in childhood. And that is this attachment theory that's going around. It's like, let's say, going viral at the moment, or since some time now. And so there's three types of people. There's the securely attached, there's the anxiously attached, like me, and then there's the avoidant attached, like the fuckboys I chase.
Gotcha.
I'm just being funny. I absolutely don't want to qualify men anymore in any negative terminology. Like, I want to treat men as my equals. And so, like, I'm a slut. Like, I'm a fuckboy. You know, I relate because I've been living my life. Like, I haven't had a relationship for 8 years. I stay away from people as much as I can. I put up walls. I completely relate to it. But I'm getting to the point, as much as I'm sure other guys my age are as well, that where you want to just have this one person that you could turn to and be sort of like comfortable with and safe with, and also be kind of like attracted to, and all of these things. Like, we all want a little bit of love, right? And I don't have the fucking time to go out hunting all the time, and it's boring, and who the fuck needs that anymore? Like, okay, we did it in our time, you know, it was fun. I don't regret, no regrets at all. I only regret the guys I didn't fuck, like, I swear. Really, you know, those are the only ones I think about. No, I'm just kidding. I think about them all.
All the ones that got away.
No, but I mean to say that if I was to look at this person as a human being, and then I would say, like, okay, I'm attracted to people who are avoidant as an anxious person. Like, because that's the only one that is truly safe, because, you know, they're not gonna give in, and you can just, like, pointlessly chase them. They ain't never gonna give in, so you're safe too, you know. And that is really, like, has been like the turning point for me. Like, in my brain, it's introduced this idea to me that if I want to rise above that, I have to just chill out. Like, I don't know, just, if not this person, just take more time on myself, you know.
I think that's the key.
Yeah, just keep it down. Like, but truly, I want to say to all of the avoidant people, like, first of all, they would probably think it's so cringe to be classified into one of these three, because that was my first reaction to, like, oh, this is the trending term, and I don't want to, I'm not even paying attention to this shit, like, whatever. But the point is that if you find it completely okay to just cut someone off and not even respond to them and give them the respect of a human being, maybe you're a bit avoidant, you know. And the thing about avoidant people is that they get a really bad rep, and their behavior is seen as unacceptable and disrespectful. Yes, it is, but it also comes from a deep place of not feeling just feeling overwhelmed by everything, and not finding any moment to relax, you know, and not feel like there's so much of pain that I think men are going through. And my intentions aside, I didn't behave like I should have played it cooler. Like, I knew logically, if I want this guy to stay interested, I should not be harassing him 100%. But I was so eager to make a connection because the connection was so good. I wanted to, like, you know,
Kindle
and
it
I didn't
and
explain
grow it.
myself enough. So I think that I've been, like, listening to some talks about this, and it's very interesting. But all the securely attached people, they already taken. They're like
It's
in
like
happy
good employees, right?
Yeah, they're in happy relationships.
They're
so
not
the only
constantly
people,
changing jobs. They're just like in one job. They're
yeah,
just like doing
that's
the
it.
thing. Yeah.
They found they're easy,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But I think the people left over, they are matching with each other if they could just, like, communicate better. You
I
know?
think you going back to what you just said about taking time to myself. I can only speak on behalf of men, and I think if you're, you know, struggling with finances, if you're not at the, you know, level of fitness that you want to be, it's not about like the external stuff actually, but it's how you feel about your life. And if you feel like it's not enough, then it's not a good space and time for you to date.
No, I would also fight against that, actually, because surely the idea is that you're lovable as you are. It's not about that. It's about looking at the person behind that and seeing that with a little bit of support, this person can shine. And it's not about support like give money. It's about support like give comfort, listen, give advice. I mean, I don't want a man in my life for money. I can get money for sex. I want a man in my life for asking him advice, borrowing his tools, you know, asking him how to make something. Like, he has information that I don't have. He has skills that I don't have. He has a strength that I don't possess. He has, like, a silence, like kind of a rock quality, you know, the matter that I was talking about. Like, this is how I picture, like, the energy of, like, a partner. You know, it's not about having money. It's not about being physically, like, your peak. Like, I would have something to work out for if I had a guy, you know. I'd be, like, excited and motivated, and that's fine, right? Like, it doesn't add, I mean,
But don't you lose respect for some guy after some time?
respect
Like, yeah.
after some time? No,
I mean, like,
I don't have respect for them from the start.
Oh.
For a long time now. I want to find this kind of connection with a man, but usually the guys that I sleep with are just guys that I don't respect a lot. You know,
well, okay.
they're
I
just
see.
like nobody. They're
Available,
nobody to
yeah.
me. They are just like, you know, cockadoodle do any
Yeah,
cockle-do,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I got you. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
and
okay,
I
like,
want to
still,
change.
I want to go back to what
Yeah,
you said
please.
about how,
Yeah, tell me.
like, going back to yourself, because it feels like I suffer from this as well. When you go out to hook up, it's like you're begging for it, you know, like both sides. Both sides are either begging for each other's time, attention, love, whatever they can provide at that given moment. But if the awareness switches over to a point where you're like, okay, this what I have going on over here is fun. If I don't get laid for a year, you know, like it's fine because I'm so in love with life and I'm like fucking myself, you know, like literally, and it's so fun to be me. I
Yeah.
don't need anybody.
That's absolutely where I am anyway, you know, like
Perfect.
generally,
Perfect.
like, but you don't understand. It's not, they are not mutual. This is the happiness and the sadness thread. Both of those things exist at the same time. I am both of those people. I'm both of those people at the same time.
I see.
You know, the moment I can look.
But they're like 50-50? You can't go like
not
49-51?
100.
Oh, shit.
They are not separate entities. They are not two different people. I am so happy with who I am. I find so much pleasure in my life. I think that I'm so happy to be completely alone all day, every day for fucking wow, can go forever. Never bored on my own. Yet, I'm also desperate for a partner because I understand.
But that
there
doesn't
is-
make sense though. Like if
No,
you're
it makes
really,
perfect sense. Come
it,
on.
it really, if you're genuinely happy with where you are and what all that
I'm
is.
a woman,
Okay, that's
and you
like-
know, you're a man. You
the
are.
Pandora's box.
We are two halves of the universal battery. That together
Mm.
is better than separate.
Mhm.
It's always better when we're together.
I heard this one nice quote about how if you want to go far, go alone. If you want to, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff makes me like feel like fuck, and I'm going slow anyway.
Yeah. That's really good.
I mean, can we just go slow together? I mean, I have had my time with this emotion that you're talking about. Like one of my songs, the first line is, I wish you could see how little you mean to me in the grander scheme of things. I move like a glacier slow, and I go and I grow, changing everything I know. That's what I wrote. Yeah.
That's pretty fire.
Nice, thank
Yeah.
you. You want to hear the other two verses? Because it's an idea
go
that
on.
goes. I wish I could be a big old banyan tree. Oh, what would I dream of and sing? I breathe like a root does, and I grow, changing everything I know. I wish every bird I see knows exactly what it means to be free. Oh, how they sing in key with the breeze. I want to flow like the wind blows. I want to go, changing everything I know.
Ooh, that's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah, thanks. So for me, romantic love has always taken a very much a back seat. But now I recognize that this aloneness is a symptom of a trauma that I experienced. And actually, the greatest thing you'll ever learn is how to love and be loved in return. All of the material possessions, all of my ambitions, all of my accomplishments are shit compared to the experience of this togetherness. Whether we deny it or accept it, we can say all we want. I'm whole. I'm a whole person. I'm whole and I'm happy. I'd be happier if I had also love. You know, really the kind of love that you see couples that are so comfortable with each other and just laughing. They grown old, happy together. It's nice stuff, right? We
I
can't
guess.
deny. We can't deny that situation is not ideal. So we're just dealing with it. You know.
I mean, all right. We can go on about this like for eternity.
Yeah, but what do you think? What?
I think there's beauty in both sides. You know, there's
Oh, yeah.
there's like you can have a life of, because I know some people who are just, all right, not like thrilled that they're alone, but like they're so at peace with the fact that there's nothing working out for them, and they try and it doesn't work out, and they try and it doesn't work out,
I would
and it's
say
not like
that
a
I'm at
miserable.
peace with it.
Yeah.
Just that I'm ovulating, so like
Okay.
it's a little bit like extra these days.
Right.
But actually, I'm at peace. I would say 100%. You know.
Okay.
As I said to you at the start, like if it's not happening, it must just not be time yet.
Mm.
That's all I. That's how I look at it,
There
and
we
I
go.
enjoy anyway every day.
There we go.
You know, every day I make a good connection. Every day I work a little bit more, one step closer to my happy self. You know, I mean my ideal life. So as I see myself doing all the things that I want to do every day, you know, yeah, step by step.